fam, welcome back to my channel. My name is Belinda. If it's your first time here, make sure to hit the subscribe button. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. Today's video is an addition to the wellness series that I have recently been covering. Make sure to check out my other videos so that we can keep the engagement going. Let me know if you're enjoying the content. And today's video, I'm actually super excited to announce that I finally read my first book of the year. So if you watched my goal review video, I'll make sure to link it up here. One of the goals I had not achieved under the wellness category for me was reading a book, which is really sad because I actually have a subscription with Audible. I get a book every month, so I have so many books in my backlog in my library that have not yet been started. But one of the ones I really wanted to read was Who Moved My Cheese? And I'm so glad that I finally got around to it. In fact, I ended up buying another book off the back of that, still by Dr. Spencer Johnson, called Peaks and Troughs. And once I read that, I will come back to you here with a review. So today's video is a bit of a different type of video. It's actually a book review, but not really about what I think of the content within the book. It's just from a different perspective of more what I learned from the book, and hopefully you can find that useful. You can probably find that as enough inspiration to get yourself a copy, because I probably won't do it enough justice. You just need to read the book. It's only an hour long. It's simple, it's timeless. It's probably a book I'll keep reading every 5 years, maybe, just to rejig my motivation, recalibrate, get back into the swing of things, because it's a book about change. It's a simple parable. Like, it's literally a story about mice and little humans in this maze looking for cheese. Sounds pointless, right? But actually the symbolism and metaphors in that story are very, very powerful. So it's about 4 characters. I'm not trying to spoil this book for you. Like, guys, just buy it. I'm gonna put a link in the description. But these 4 characters, 2 of them are mice, and they represent very simple characters, people who don't overthink, people who just get on with stuff. And then the other 2 are little humans, and they are a bit more complicated. They have emotions that they tie to things. They don't just go by instinct. They have a lot of memory, and they actually represent a lot of how humans function. Animals in the animal kingdom, they'll just go by instinct. They will move if the weather is changing. They're gonna move. Like, if you're from Kenya, East Africa, you know that there's that wildebeest migration that happens in July. They just move with the weather, with the climate. They just don't overthink. They're not stuck on, oh, but I've been staying here for the last however long, this is my land. No, they're gonna move to Tanzania if need be, go to Sudan if that's what it takes. So what I realized with the story is that depending on what the topic is, you probably are each of those characters at some point in your life with regards to different things. There are certain things that I probably don't fear trying out different things. I could make it a very simple example: cooking. I'm not stuck up on what I want to have to eat. If I don't have enough ingredients for something, I'm probably gonna try and make something out of what I have. But in other areas of my life, I'm probably more fearful of change, and I'm probably more of a him or a how. So you'll understand what I mean by him and how, and Scuff and Scurry. Sniff and Scurry, because those are the names of the characters. So Sniff is able to sniff out change quickly. Scurry is able to spring into action. How resists change for a bit, but then realizes, I need to get on with the times. And then him is just like, no, this is how they resist change completely. So of course you don't want to be a him. But yeah, let me not get into the nitty-gritties of the story. You'll read that for yourself. But I have 3 top lessons that I learned from this book, and I'm definitely taking with me and going to apply it to my life, or at least amplify. I probably kind of apply it, but I need to amplify even more. So my first one is move with the cheese. So something I noted with the book is they give assertions and affirmations almost every bit of the story, which is really, really powerful. It really sticks in your mind. So move with the cheese was one of them. And what I got, I have some notes here, so if you see me looking down, that's why. So on this one I wrote, don't get stuck on previous perception of reality, move on with the times. So sometimes, like, and just referring back to the story, sometimes I'll give an example. Maybe for you to get a promotion, you need to do A, B, C, and D, and that's what has been the case for the last 5 years, 5, 10 years. But then when you do those A, B, C, and D, you realize, wait, there's now this additional thing that you need to do, and you can be stuck on, but all the other people needed to do only A, B, C, and D. Why aren't you, But the times are changing. It's just like also how, when you're doing your day-to-day at work, maybe you've always done it this way. They introduce this new system and you're just like, why? Why do I need to change how I'm doing things if what I'm doing is working? Now, you just need to move with the cheese, because you can fight it for as long as you can, and all it does is just make you more and more miserable. Move with the cheese. In fact, if you can anticipate that something is going to change, start, familiarizing yourself. If it's a new system, start doing a bit of training. Is there any, 101s or something about it? So, AI is coming, it's going to take over the world apparently, so we can fight it and say how, is it ethical, is it what? Or you can also check out how to use AI, how to use ChatGPT. You might be surprised that actually it's more helpful than you thought. So I think the main thing is with this move with the cheese is that move with the times. Like, don't be too stuck on what you know and how things have been done in the past, because things will change and you'll be left behind, and you don't want to be a him. And the second point is actually very related to this first. In fact, all my 3 points are related in one way or another. So this other one was read the handwriting on the wall. So this one was more to do with just accept the facts. Sometimes we can get so entitled. So sometimes we imagine something is ours when it really isn't. I'll give you an example. You apply for a job, and honestly, that job description is just you. You can see yourself in that job description, and you're like, this is me. And you apply to it, you put your all into it, you put your heart into it, and even when you go to that interview, you rock it. But then you get a rejection, and you're like, how dare you reject me? How dare you let go of this? Like, basically you thought that was yours, when the reality is they don't owe you anything. They genuinely do not owe you anything. If anything, try and gather feedback from how you did on that interview so that you can do better next time. So sometimes we feel entitled to things that are honestly not ours, and sometimes things are ours until they're not. So you're in this job, you're thriving, you're not surviving, you're thriving, and you're doing what you can, but then you're made redundant. And no one wants to be made redundant. No one wants to, it's disappointing, it's frustrating. But then you can be pushed out kicking and screaming, or you can anticipate that, your organization seems to not have been doing well for the last few months. Let me start, gathering my things. Let me tie my, like in the story, the mice and the little humans, for them to go and search for cheese, they needed to have their running shoes or whatever. So you need to hang them on your neck. Be ready with the running gear that you need to get started with a new opportunity. So the long story short is, read the handwriting on the wall. Look at what the reality is where you're at and act on it. Don't be held up on the reality you think you need to be having. So there's a difference between your perception and the reality. And the last one, it's May's time. So this one was an interesting one. And it was more about, it's May's time, we're using that terminology to mean like it's time to go look for, it's time to get back into the battlefield. And sometimes that battlefield is really frowned upon. It's made to seem like it's such a bad thing, and what you want is to get to the destination. And actually the happiness and joy should be in the journey and in the process. Let's appreciate the process of working towards our success. Sometimes we think when I get to this, when I become this, is when I'll be happy. You'd be surprised. You'll get there and you'll be thinking of the next best thing. Like, I remember I used to think, oh my God, all I want to do is to go to University of Manchester. All I want to do is to graduate. I did those things. Then what? There's always something else to be obtained, something else to be achieved. So enjoy the process. Don't be afraid of working hard, working towards things. Appreciate the small wins. Don't wait to get this big bang thing and that's when you'll be happy. When you realize the journey is actually what is really important, that's when you won't be afraid to get back into it. If you, for example, like in my country now, our vice president is going through an impeachment process. He probably thought, I want to be the vice president, and once I'm the vice president, I've made it. Well, you make it and you can lose it. It's yours until it's not. So don't be afraid of the hard work, because you might need to do it. You might think you've made it and you actually need to get back into the field. So the more you are familiar with the field, the more you're not afraid of the field, the more you enjoy the field, the more you're less vulnerable to situations that are out of your control. If you lose a job, you just get on, apply for the next one. You know, you've been there before, been there, done it. You know you can do it again. And in fact, like that, how is the one who resisted change? He got quite weak. By the time he was going back, he made peace and realized, I need to go look for new cheese. He was really hungry. So he had really wasted himself to the point that now it took more energy to do the very thing he could do before. But as he was looking for this new cheese, he would imagine himself enjoying nice, lovely cheese, and that gave him the motivation he needed. So appreciate imagine yourself where you need to be, but also as you go along and you have those small wins, enjoy them. Those are the ones that give you energy to keep going. If you make a small accomplishment, it's not that big thing you are looking for, appreciate it. And also those lessons you're learning along the way are the ones that will keep you longer in that big title or whatever it is that you're headed towards. You're where you're meant to be. There's a reason that thing that's happening to you is happening. It's for you to learn something and then move on. Yeah, so this was not meant to be a lecture. I am lecturing myself while I'm at it. I am trying to ingest and marinate on all those lovely, lovely lessons I learned from the book. I recommend that you read the book. Let me know in the comments what you picked up from the book as well. It would be good to see different interpretations, because it's a parable, so it has different, you can read it and get a whole different perspective to me. So it would be great to see what you thought of the book and what you learned. See you on the next one. Bye.